Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Stephanie Puente of Bliss Lived. I'm excited to be going live with you today and sharing with you some things that I have found that have really helped me throughout this past year raise the vibrations of my home and also my home office, and seeing the ripple effects that it really has on my business, on my family's well-being, on our health and our general spirits, especially with everything that we've had going on with the COVID pandemic. So I wanted to share those things with you. Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to focus on the mouth of Qi, or the front door. And this is based off of Feng Shui a little bit. Qi, prana, ashe, whatever you want to call it, life force energy, God energy, comes in through the front of the house or the main entrance that you use to enter and exit the house. So you want to make sure that it's clear, that there's nothing there that can obstruct your passage or anybody that's coming in to deliver anything or to come visit your home. You want to make sure that it's really bright and cheerful and happy. So you want to kind of go to the entrance as if you were somebody coming in, or if you were coming in from your car or from the walkway after taking a walk, maybe taking a walk and actually physically doing that, and seeing what the energy feels like to you and seeing what is coming up for you. So for me, when I did this, there were a lot of spiders that had taken residence around my front door, and I have brick all around the side, and there were little crevices and openings where they were nesting and they were doing webs and all those kinds of things. Now, any kind of webbing represents stagnant energy. So what you want to do is you want to thank the spirit of the spider that has taken up residence there, right? And say, thank you for coming to my home and bringing your essence and your spirit, but I am going to remove you. And then removing the spider or removing the webbing and taking it out. So I did that first. And then afterwards, I kind of looked at the door, and I didn't have time to repaint it or anything like that. And it was in pretty good condition, and I did like the color. So if the color resonates with you and you feel like you do like it, your spirit feels cheerful and your soul kind of lights up when you see the color, or it produces some kind of effect on you. So for instance, my door is blue. So every time that I see it, it instantly helps me feel soothed, balanced, and at peace, especially if I've been out and I've come across maybe instances of bad instances with people in stores, or maybe a bad incident on the road. I instantly feel that refreshing, soothing, peaceful sky or water-like effect when I see my door. So I don't plan on repainting it anytime soon. I do have maybe an inkling of maybe using a turquoise in the future. But right now, I really do like the robin's egg blue that I have. So looking at it and giving it a really good scrub down, a physical cleaning, really using something that can really make it shine. And then after you're done cleaning it, using a spray bottle and then putting water, salt, a essential oil that feels good to you. I like lavender and lemon. And then holding the bottle and asking your guides, your spirits, to remove any entities or anything that might feel heavy on the door, and asking your guides or the four directions to come in and to help you and to help imbue your door with positive energy to attract abundance, prosperity, opportunities, and all of the good things that you want to bring in through your door. So if you have a storm door, you want to make sure that you do it on both doors, not only your front door, but also the storm door, and checking to see that nothing's loose on the door. Anything that's squeaking needs to be fixed, because any squeaking indicates rough energy or lack of ease in prosperity and good energy being able to come in. And it also shows that you've been ignoring this area of your life. So you definitely want to address that using WD-40, which is what my husband uses, or something that's equivalent to grease the door. The other thing that you want to check for is scratches or dents. Dents are okay, I found, but any scratches, you want to touch them up. And if, let's say, for instance, the storm door feels a little bit, if it's white, like in my case, if it feels a little bit dingy, you want to really use a magic eraser or maybe repaint it and really bring up that that true vibrancy of the color. So I recommend doing that. And you also want to be very meticulous. So really go into the crevices and really clean the door. So I recommend doing this when you first do it. You might notice that there's a lot of gunk in there, and you might even need to get a hose or a power washer to do that. That's what we did. And then after that, you can clean it every week. So I like doing it on a Saturday whenever I do my general cleaning, or on a specific day if there's a specific deity or goddess or energy that I'm working with, or if there's a certain lunar phase going on. So I really like cleaning the door during the new moon phase when I'm planting my intentions for the new moon cycle, or at the beginning of the year, the end of the month, or the beginning of the month. Those are more or less the times that I notice where it really creates a big effect, a big ripple effect in the energy of my house. So going back to the door, so you want to make sure that also that your door is removed from the bottom or the main level of the road. You want to make sure that it's raised up. So maybe adding a brick or a slant or something to make sure that your door is not touching the bottom. You can do that by just adding something to the front of it. In my case, it is raised up, but if it's flush, you want to make sure that you add something that creates a sort of bumping off point from the road. You also want to make sure that the mat that you're using is not overly used and it has a positive message. So there's a lot of quirky, funny mats out there, like our neighbors have better stuff, or these unwelcoming messages, which can be funny, but it's not good when it comes to attracting abundance and positive chi. So you want to make sure that it's a positive message. It's a bright and airy mat. It's good quality. It hasn't been overused and it's not dirty. So you can wash the mat every 2 weeks or every month, or you can just replace it. I love replacing it every quarter or every change of season and making sure that it's fresh. And I also like adding in something seasonally when it comes to the Sabbats, the different holidays, and those energies that are coming in and how they can be used to attract prosperity. So you might want to do that and then clean it, put it away, and then bring in another mat. So at the front door, when I'm cleaning, I also like cleaning the front stoop and then putting some salt for protective reasons. So you can use sea salt, you can use Himalayan salt. I like using sea salt preferably, and using the thresholds, just sprinkling it right across the thresholds and creating a barrier of protection after you've done your cleansing. And you want to create an enchantment or just recite and say that only positive and beneficial entities and forces are allowed to penetrate through this threshold, and anything that's not of the light will be absorbed by the salt and will be repelled away. So Moda B, and in the name of whatever spirit, ancestor, or higher force that you're connected to. The other thing that you want to do is you want to check for cracks on the cement in front of your door. And you also want to make sure that you don't place too many plants around the door. Some plants are great, as well as a wind chime, because it creates a very ethereal and very positive sort of vibration in the space, but you don't want to overly overcrowd the space, because if not, then the chi will just kind of stay there stagnant and it won't go into the house. The other thing that you don't want to have is any dying plants. I'm guilty of this, where I want to sort of nurse plants back to health, even after they've died, or even when they show it just an inkling of being able to be revived. But you really don't want to do that. If a plant is showing like it's past its time, you want to move it out of the space. Thank it for bringing those great vibrations and that positive essence into the space and decorating your space, and then removing it, and then only adding healthy plants to the space. You also want to only bring in plants that are going to thrive in that space. So for instance, I have a porch, so that calls for shaded plants. And the plants that we chose over the summer that really lasted all through, even into the fall, they really thrive in shaded places. And then making it a point to always water the plant, to trim it, to make sure that it looks beautiful and gorgeous, because it really shows spirit and the energy of money, that you're able to really invest in things. And when you do invest in things, and when you're showing this readiness of being able to take on more than what you're currently holding, more will be drawn to you. So I highly recommend doing that. And then the other thing you want to look at is look at the pavement or the concrete that's right in front of your house, or right in front of your door, even leading up to the driveway or a pathway if you have it. And any cracks that you have, you want to seal them up. You want to make sure that it looks in good condition. And when you can, repave or re-concrete. We sealed our driveway, and because right now we do use our driveway as sort of a walkway, so we did that. And then we also repainted the mailbox and made sure that the mailbox had the same kind of aesthetic, the same energy, the same care that we were showing the front door, because it is one of the first things that people tend to see. So going back to the door, so I added a bell in front of my storm door, because the bell does bring in a little bit of positive energy, and you can also tell when somebody's coming towards the door, which is great. So I recommend doing that, finding a really nice chimey bell, putting it on the door. If you can't hang a wind chime, I would have loved to have a wind chime, but because of how my house is, I couldn't have one. But having a wind chime is also really great, because it does bring that positive energy, and wind chimes are connected to the element of air. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you try to bring in the 4 elements, or rather the 5, which is water, air, earth, fire, and ether. So I tend to stick to the 4, so making sure that you can bring that in. So the wind chime would be air, or the bells. The plant would be earth. Fire is the light, so making sure that the lighting that's overhead or around your front door is well lit. You don't have any busted or lights that are out, because that does influence the chi. And you also want to light your front door light. In my case, it's my front porch. You want to light it for at least 3 to 4 hours. And I find that the ideal times for me to light it, where I've noticed that I've gotten the most prosperity or the most ripple effect when it comes to abundance and health and all these things, and just raising the vibrations of that space, is from 11 a.m. in the morning up until 1 or 2. You can also do it in the afternoon, but I find that noon sun Helios energy that's really, really amped up around that time, it just creates this effect. And most of the time your neighbors, or even you, unless it's a little cloudy or it's dim out, people won't notice. But you can also do it at night or towards the evening. You can also light it then. But I really find that during 11 to 2 is really a great time. 11 to 3 is really a great time to really amp up that fire energy. Now, if you're really working on manifesting and drawing in more energy in a specific area, so for instance, money, you can have it lit up the whole entire day. And that really sends out a signal to the universe, like, hey, spirit, fire spirit, please come and don't overlook my house. I'm here, I'm ready to receive, bring it. And then making those petitions so that way they come in through your front door. So I love visualizing the front door as the mouth of chi. You also want to do that every single day when you wake up, making sure that you unlock the door, you open it in the morning when you first wake up, checking, looking around outside, making sure that it looks okay. Also looking at the door to make sure that there's nothing on there. I've had some really weird bugs take up residence, and you just want to make sure that the door always looks great and that the door knows that you're paying attention to it, because that's where the energy is coming. And yeah, so that's pretty much just the front door aspect. The other part is the doorbell. So when we first moved in, we had a really banged up, outdated doorbell. If you can, getting a top of the line doorbell is really great. We have a video option that has a security feature that's really great, because it shows that you're really invested in your home, and in really seeing who's coming in, who's going out, and keeping that doorbell in really good working condition, cleaning it as well. The other thing that you want to do is check to make sure that the doorknob and the locks work really well and that are smooth. that it's smooth to open and close the door. Because again, if there's any unease in opening or closing the door, that also affects the energy of the home and the energies in your house. The other thing that you want to do is you want to hang a horseshoe if you can. In the upward U position, if you want to attract abundance and prosperity, or in the downward, I like to call the N position, which kind of looks like the N for negativity, to block negativity, to block any attempts of spiritual attack, anything that's being sent to you that's not of the light, or any entity that might want to come in and take residence, because sometimes positive lights can attract funky negative stuff as well as positive things. So you want to put that up. And I love working with your Orisha Ogun, who's responsible for iron. So getting a horseshoe that's made out of iron, preferably that's been used by a horse in an ethical way, is great. And then hanging that up and putting that up over the door. Let's see, what else? Hanging up a wreath in front of the door is a really great way to bring in some great energy into the space, changing out that wreath. If you can, making sure that it's evergreen, because the symbolism of evergreen wreaths, if you can get it naturally, is evergreen money, abundance, health, prosperity, and positivity. So you want to do that. And then you can also use certain essential oils on the wreath, or even create one of your own using rosemary or any other natural plants that are in season to create a wreath, and then imbuing it with your own divine power as a goddess and calling in your guides, your angels, any deities that you work with to come and imbue that wreath to repel, but to also attract what's positive and what's going to help you raise the vibration of your house and really bring you up to the next level and area of your life. So that's the other thing that you can do. And now I did mention briefly decorating for each season. So you want to make sure that you also bring in those colors. So red in Feng Shui is a very positive color. So you can bring that in through the wreath or through the door. Yellow, white, black, which is symbolized is a symbol of power and presence. And then also taking a compass direction of your door and seeing how it's pointing. So standing on the doorway and looking out, and then seeing what direction your door is pointing. So in my case, my door is pointing southeast, or rather, no, northeast, excuse me, northeast. So it's on a bit of a slant, my house, and then looking up what corresponds to that direction. So what color would be most enhanced on that. And then you can even go a little deeper into it. But as a beginner, I think that's a really foolproof way to kind of start with that, to bring in the right energies. Or also just choosing an intuitive color, just a color that resonates well, that meshes well with the decor, with the siding and the brick of your house and neighboring houses, and just resonates with you, that just sparks joy in your heart and really just sets your soul on fire and really helps you feel good. It's just another foolproof way of choosing a door color. So I love that. And then if you have a seating area like I do, making sure that the seating is in good condition. If it needs to be repainted, repaint it. Any windows that are adjacent to the door, making sure that they're also in good shape, cleaning them often. I love cleaning my windows. I clean them every week if I feel like the energy is heavy and I want to just bring in more abundance and prosperity into my house and create a barrier of protection, but as well as bringing in positive vibes and imbuing it into my doors and my windows. So you can do that if it's right next to it. Just make sure that the windows mimic the same aesthetic or the same vibe as the door. So those are my tips for how to raise the vibrations of your house when it comes to your front entryway. If you're interested in learning about any other specific area, let me know. I'll probably go into the mailbox next, and maybe the foyer or the hallway. So you can look out for that video. And I hope that you're doing amazing. Leave me a comment below and let me know how you're raising the vibrations in your home office. this year? How do you feel in your space? How can you tell that things are a little off? I'm really curious to know. For me, I find that my body feels heavy. I am an empath, so my body feels heavy. Sometimes you might feel heaviness in your house because there's arguments, or if there's any recurring illness happening in the house. Those are all signs that there's some funky energy in the home that needs to be shifted and moved and elevated. You also don't want to have, like I said, anything that's broken or that feels heavy or doesn't bring joy. So that's another instance too, indicating that the energy in the space is heavy. And if you don't look forward to coming to your front door or leaving your house or coming into your house, that's a sign that you need to focus on raising the vibration of that space. So I hope that you enjoyed these tips, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.